So about 2 years ago, I started building my smart home. And through that 2 years, I learned a lot about what's useful and what actually isn't that useful. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys 3 of my favorite smart tech tools that I use and what I think you could easily bring into your home and start using to just make your home a lot more accessible and easier to use. So the first smart tech tool that I want to share with you guys is a smart lock for your exterior doors. So I'm talking about your front or your back door or the garage door, any door that allows access to your home from the outside. And the reason why I think a smart lock is so great is because of its accessibility in comparison to just traditional keypad locks. So with keypad locks, I think the best you can get is probably a keypad lock that can store multiple pins. And multiple pins are good for, say, you need to set up a guest pin for someone who is coming over. That's all great, but a smart lock takes it to the next level. So the problem with those traditional keypad locks is that A, you have to be there with the lock to set up the pin. If you're not there with the lock, you aren't able to set up a new pin. And managing those pins, you have to be with the lock to manage those pins. With a smart lock, all of those controls, managing those pins, creating those pins, it's now on your phone. That means you can manage your lock from anywhere where you have internet access. So that's really great for on-the-fly things when, like, let's say your family member needs to come and pick something up and they just ring you a call. You can just go ahead on your phone and set up a new temporary pin for them, and then they have access. And then once they're done, you can easily delete that pin so that that pin is no longer valid. Now I know from experience that having to manage pins and set up guest pins manually is such a pain. Like, if I grant someone temporary access with a temporary pin, sometimes I forget, or I don't want to, especially in the winter, stand out there in the cold and try to remember the admin options on the keypad to delete a pin. So with the phone and a smart lock, it's so much easier. You can control all of that from the comforts of wherever you are versus having to be outside at the door lock, having to manually set that stuff up and remember the menu that are corresponding to the number on the keypad and figuring all that out. So, and because of that accessibility alone, I think that's a great reason to invest in a smart lock for your house. So as I was editing this video, I realized I missed a couple points that I wanted to point out about the smart lock as well. So not only can you set up pins for your guests, but you can actually remotely unlock your door from your phone for your guests. So you don't actually need to provide them a pin. If you have access to your phone when they arrive at your house, you can just open up the app and manually unlock the door via your phone and grant them access that way. Most often, more than not, I use that way instead of actually creating a pin for them where they can enter in, because most times I do have access to my phone and I can just click unlock on my phone and provide them access. The second smart tech tool that I want to share with you guys is a smart garage door opener. Now, there have been so many cases, or there have been so many times before where I would be driving out of my driveway or driving out of my garage to go to work in the morning, and as soon as I get onto the street, I think, did I close the garage door? And then you have to suddenly loop back around, go back home, and just double check, and usually it's closed, right? Well, with the smart garage opener, you now can check the status of your garage door right from your phone, because your door is now connected to the internet. So when you do have that thought about whether you close the garage door, now all you have to do is check your phone and see that the door is closed. Not only that, you can control the door with your phone. So you can remotely open and close your garage door from anywhere you have internet access. So this is great. Sometimes I let people use my garage and they're working on their cars, and maybe they come over when I'm not home. Well, I can remotely open the garage and provide them access to my garage even while I'm not there. And being able to provide that accessibility from anywhere, I think, is the number one reason why you should invest in a smart garage opener. And the third smart tech tool that I want to share with you guys is something that I think has saved me so much time and has allowed me to be more productive with my time and do other things while this thing is doing its thing. And by doing its thing, I'm talking about that guy right there. A smart robot vacuum cleaner. Now, they don't even have to be smart. I mean, technically, they're not really a smart tech tool, but in this case, mine is. It's hooked up to my smart home, and I can tell it when to activate. I can set up a schedule. You can do that with a regular one, but with this one, you can just do it from your phone, as well as you can tell your smart home assistant to activate that robot whenever it needs to, whenever you want it to. But with a smart robot vacuum cleaner, it's just been so useful for me. I mean, I don't even have to sweep this place as much as I used to. It does all the sweeping or vacuuming around the house. But one thing to be wary about those is that you have to make sure that your house kind of supports the robot, in the sense that if you have a lot of high carpets or a lot of obstructions in the way, things that it can get stuck on, well, that might not be the greatest environment for your smart home vacuum cleaner to persist in. But my place, it's fairly open, hardwood floor, and we have one high rug in the living room, but surprisingly it can make it through that as well. That thing has just saved me so much time, and not to be lazy or anything, but
motion detected at front.
Motion detected at front. So I have smart cameras, or I have cameras hooked to my smart home, and it allows me to get surveillance of the exterior of my home, as well as I have cameras indoors to allow me to monitor the interior of my home. But that's besides the point. But those are actually very useful in feeling secure in your home in an area where you might not feel the safest. Those things just give you a little heads up beforehand if anything's about to go down.